Yo, what's happening, guys? What is happening? So, a couple of wee technical issues coming through from Garry's side, but he is working hard and hopefully we will be good to go any minute. So, thanks very much for your patience, guys. If you're tuning in, drop me a little fist bump in the comments. And yes, we're just about good to go. So, absolutely buzzing to have Garry on the night, guys. Unbelievable story. And yes, here we go. So I think he's just connecting his camera now. Here we go.
Line through there somewhere.
How are you doing, guys?
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know if I'm fucking silhouetted like I'm on Crime Watch here.
Here, we got there, mate. We got there.
We did that. Let me try and turn this a wee bit.
No probs. I had to jump on live right there because again, Facebook only give you 9 minutes before it cuts the stream, so we're in.
Fucking hell, I look like I'm getting bulked now. I keep looking at myself, oh fuck's sake, you've got muscles.
You're looking fresh, mate.
I feel good, man. I was saying it here earlier on. I went for are we live now, aye?
Yeah, we're live, mate. We're live.
Non-incriminating. I took the wee Destiny. I took her for a walk through the woods, and we usually, I don't know if there's fucking deer in the woods or something, but we went up there. We just have these sort of during lockdown, have these real moments with nature. It's breathtaking, really. For city boys like me, I'm fucking in love. Might be used to it up there, but I'm definitely not used to it. I just get all excited, so aye.
Nah, that's good, man. Here, there's loads of wee trails about Dundee, mate. You could just escape to.
I feel like I'm an absolute tourist up here. It's brilliant, man. Because nobody knows me. So I don't know. I just seem to blend in completely until I speak, and it sounds a bit Glaswegian sometimes, I think, when I speak. So it's a dead giveaway, obviously, that I'm not for the hood.
Cool. How are you liking Dundee, mate?
I love it, man. It's the same as Newcastle and Glasgow to me. I think working class people are working class people no matter where you go. And in this country, most of us have been given a shit deal. So if you kind of know how to respect that type of person while having your own sort of self-respect, without, it's no masculinity, but without being a fucking idiot as well, then I guess, yeah, man, I love the humour up here. I love the guys. I feel like I've got family up here now compared to obviously just not knowing anything about it before.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Well, guys, before we jump in, man, I'm going to get a chance to just try and get the plug. Guys, anybody's watching, any questions that you've got throughout this live, fire them in. And hopefully towards the end, we'll be able to get them answered. But also share this out. Share this live out. That would be brilliant. It'd be a great help. Garry's got an amazing story that he's going to tell tonight, and it'll be crazy impactful for a lot of people. So, yeah, go for it. Okay, guys. First of all, thanks a lot, mate. It's totally appreciated you coming on.
Nah, not a problem, man.
But I want to get to, because right through a BAFTA winner. And I've worked with a wee bit on the PTSD movie, which we'll speak about in a bit as well, which was mind blowing for me. But take me right back to the start, mate, where your journey began, my man, and okay there.
Funny, I'm writing about it up here as well, which is kind of one of the reasons we've been up here, obviously. But I was born in Muirhouse in Edinburgh, late 70s. Fuck, late 70s. It was like, I guess, growing up in a deprived scheme. When you say that, a deprived scheme, it almost sounds negative, but it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? I grew up in the middle of a sort of a heroin and HIV epidemic, something that I didn't know that Dundee had until I came up here in the 80s as well. Like, I was ignorant to that. But yeah, I grew up like that. Sort of, for one reason or another, travelled back between mum, dad, and various family members and stuff like that, and ended up in the care system at 9, I think. I ended up in the care system at 9, and I think I was like sexually abused within the first sort of week of me being there. And I guess in hindsight now, it's kind of easy to see why I was so fucked up in the head. But I guess back then I was just a child trying to understand the world. So that set me off on a path, really, that I guess that's still true to this day. I'm 42 and I have more in common with criminals and that sort of like than what I do with other people. I guess it's a cloth that I'm cut for. So for me, I seek shelter where other people probably would have ran, you know, and guys who other people might not think were good people, but I thought were good people because they protected me. It just so happens that they were firing me in to be a wee thief. And that's what I learned my trade in, really, being when I was younger. And I guess, what was it, like 38 different care placements in like 8 years, and doing a tour of all the secure units and stuff, that it sort of emotionally it fucked me. Something that I've only been putting in that type of emotional work over the last 4 years, but it damaged me. The care system damaged me. And I guess like in 1995, it's funny because even when I say 1995, I think of my friends at 15, 16. But when they passed away, they were the sort of guys that people were judgmental of when you're walking down the street or just stuff like that. So even when I say it's 1995 there, we were all just young wee laddies playing football and trying out drugs. Unbeknown to me, there would only be sort of 2 years left of that group. Most of us are deep now. So yeah, man, just done that. And I guess for me, like, I don't know, buying trainers and jeans and stuff like that was really important to me. I felt like I could fit in if I had a pair of brand new white trainers. So I just started dealing drugs really at a very young age, and that's how I sort of made my money.
Going back to your like going into care and that, guys, like what? I mean, 9. What was the process, and how did that happen?
Well, do you know what was funny? I was in a place not far from here, just up at Montrose, Rossi Farm.
Rossi.
And not long ago, about 4 weeks ago, when the lockdown, whatever, started kicking in, I took my wee girl back up there. I mean, my 2 wee girls were me. And the windows are all barred. They're all bars and stuff like that in the window. And my wee girl, Destiny, she was like, Dad, is it no scary coming back here? Like, I didn't really like the feeling that I'm getting for this place. This was her at 10. The same, and I'm looking at her going, Destiny, I was in here when I was your age, pal. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, I can't ever imagine myself being that innocent, even for birth. I just always been a man, really. So I says to her, I was like, nah, like, when I was younger, and I came here, and I told her, like, at that young age, the first thing that I remember really with that Rossi Farm was going into a communal shower and having no puberty. And then you would be suddenly around with these guys at 16, 15, hairs on their chest, and that was my first experience, really. And then from then on in, it was just get bullied until you stood up for yourself. So, yeah, that was my first experience sort of making pals with a black guy as well. My pal back then, Stanley, he's a Muslim now, so his name's not Stanley, but back then we were just young boys, and that was the first time that I started listening to UB40, Bob Marley, NWA, and it just broke so much stuff down for me. But yeah, that was the start of me being institutionalised, really.
You were in and out of the homes to what age, guys? Right through to your
16, mate. I tried to join the army when I was 16. I was in a secure unit, and I was sort of training. I was doing long distance running, and then I went to go and try and join the army. I done the weekend course at 16, and they let me out. And then my mate broke my nose with a headbutt, so the army paid for me to get my nose broken reset. So they paid a lot of money, and then I went back, and they were basically saying to me like, "You need to stay out of trouble for a year, and then come back to us." and I couldn't. I'm sure I stole a car on the way home. I hadn't done anything for like 8 months. Like I was just convinced I was going to be in the army, and then when that couldn't happen, that was it. I just came on.
So when did the wheels start coming off, guys? Kind of like you.
I think they were never on. I think that the chaos that just consumed myself meant that I think I was always looking at the world to blame as well. You know, I think I was always looking for the external thing to come in and fix it. I mean, I can speak with a bit of clarity to this now, but 4 years ago I couldn't have spoke with the emotional intelligence or the emotional articulation that I can do now. So yeah, man, I was fucked. And I guess like it sounds like a mental thing to say, but I feel like heroin saved my life. You know, it gave me money. It stopped me from feeling emotional pain. And then when I listened to the doctors and I went onto my methadone prescription, I felt like that took my life from me. I felt like it was a social control. They didn't want me out stealing. They didn't want me. And I felt like I lost. And for that point there, I felt like it was a battle between myself and the NHS, really. Well, all my pals were sort of dying, and not just my friends, like people who I was sort of associated with were coming out of prison and dying. And I guess I needed to try and change, but didn't know what I needed to change from. And then it was just that gradual descent into sort of chaotic drug use. And then when my son was born, like I've skipped a few stages, but my son was born. And I guess even before that, like one of the things that I realised was that I always wanted to be a hard man. And when I was around hard men in the jail, I realised that I wasn't that. Like I was scared, I was vulnerable, and I just did not know myself at all. So I guess when the wee man was born, it gave me a bit of an excuse to maybe say to some of my pals.
How many years later was the wee man born, guys?
He's 17 now, so I guess I was like 24.
24.
I'm 24, so that gave me like a good run of doing selling drugs, being in and out of prison, and sort of trafficking drugs and stuff like that. It sounds glamorous, trafficking drugs, but putting drugs up your arse isn't that glamorous coming back up to London. But it was like, I don't know, I guess I've got to say it with a bit of an example as well, but like, I loved selling drugs. Like I love, like to this day, if they Screaming Bairns next door one of there, I know what I'd be doing, because my lack of education meant that I wasn't able to understand how I could source material stuff. So I guess I loved it to a point, but it becomes detrimental. You know, whatever you take something for, if you're taking a powder or a tablet for confidence, when you stop taking that tablet or powder, then the confidence is away. So yeah, the wee man was born, and like I have complex post-traumatic stress now, but I didn't know that back then. So I was just taking drugs, and then I remember, what did I do? I went and done a sort of a community education thing, and that's where I started finding my voice as a writer. Really, I was trying to come off of methadone, I was trying to come off of Valium, and my whole world felt like it was collapsing, or it was very small at this point. And then, you know, the writer Ian Rankin,
yeah,
he wrote a story, and the competition was to write the other half of the story. And I wrote the other half of the story, but then I wrote my own story, and I found this voice. And at the time, my cousin was in prison, and I was sending him stuff down. You know, I'd send him short stories and stuff like that. And it was kind of for that moment on, when guys in the digger and guys in the halls are sitting telling you need to change, you need to fucking listen to that. If you were a social worker or a psychiatrist or a prison officer telling me to change, then I would have just seen that as the fight. But when it's guys, yeah, bro.
So these guys were telling you to change because they seen a talent in your writing.
Yeah, man. And that's something that's still with me to this day, you know, them same people and all that. So I guess I felt an honest responsibility to write about people like us, for schemes or for our perspective, because I felt like no disrespect to Irvin or that on Trainspotting, I felt like Trainspotting was done and everybody kind of thought that they knew how we lived, and I felt that was wrong. So I just wanted to sort of put it from our point of view, and I think the first film that I done, so I'd caught the writing bug and started telling everybody I wanted to be a writer, making the stories, and at this point, there was a local group called Pilton Video, and somebody there asked me if I wanted to write a screenplay. I didn't know what a screenplay was, and he told me, and I was computer illiterate at the time, so I went away with a ruler, and on a bit of paper, I would put like 1.5 inches as your character, 2 inches your dialogue, whatever the dimensions was, and that's how I first started writing, really. And then that was my first short film. I was working as a security guard. Fuck's sake. I was working as a security guard. This is the God's honest truth. I was working as a security guard, selling smack, and the young team from Pilton and that would come down and sit in my cabin because nobody had anywhere to stay. So they would just come down to the building site. I left that building site to go and make a short film. The day that I left, the next day, the whole fucking thing went on fire because I was the only security guard there, and it wasn't because the young team were scared of me. It was just because they knew me and they had somewhere to go. As soon as that was out, vroom, the whole thing went on fire. Monday morning, I've kind of been on a really hard shift, and then a full film crew show up at my girlfriend's door at the time. All my pals that says they wanted to be in a film, nobody showed up on a Monday morning. So it was me, my girlfriend, and my son, Garry J. My wee daughter was in her belly, and we just improvised, really. And previously, I guess I was trying to tell the story that it's very easy to say to a youngster, put a knife down. But when you're surrounded by knife crime, you putting a knife down can mean you lose your life when you walk down the street. So I was trying to put that forward, like the sort of the position that I felt like that I was in at the time. And that short film ended up winning an MTV award. And I'd started college at the time, and I was still on methadone. I was still fucked, to be honest with you. But I started college, and with that short film winning an MTV award, I took that to my lecturer, really, and I says, I want to do my HMD. And he says to me, you've had no schooling and you probably won't be able to do it, but I'm going to give you a chance. And the first year was hell. I remember that being in college for the first year of my HND, and because it's all paperwork, it's not really to teach you how to make movies, it's to teach you to pass a graded unit. Right. But I just felt like the first year, we felt like all my pals were, not all my pals, but it felt like a lot of my pals were dying or overdosing or getting prison. And then I would walk into this classroom where people were eating avocado or fucking stuff that I didn't even know what it was. Like I thought coffee came as Nescafe. I didn't realise it was filtered stuff. Obviously, I'm classy now, but back then, back then there was no BAFTAs doing so. Nah, so like, I just started comparing the healthiness of people who were sort of middle class and what I was going through, and suddenly it started feeling like not that the world was unjust, but my world was unjust, and I could probably do something about it. So I made a short film called Tolerance, and that started saving people's lives coming out of prison. I started getting stopped with prisoners who were coming out socked in prison, and they were stopping me in the street saying, Garry, we watched that as part of our overdose awareness, and it was heavy as fuck, but it was a really good film. And I guess that same wee laddie that used to go to criminals for some sort of shelter before was now getting sort of validation, but no for anything that I was doing illegal.
Yeah.
But I still felt like I could still be myself. I could still be a real cunt, but I could do my thing in a way that was still like what I was before, you know? Yeah. So Tolerance was done.
Were they showing them that before they were getting out the jail, guys?
Yeah, bro, because at the time, it's on my YouTube channel now, Tolerance, but that, at the time, there was two things that was happening that was a bit shit. That in the area that I stayed in, if a paramedic arrived on the scene before the police, the paramedic couldn't enter the building because it was a potential crime scene. That meant for me that I was witnessing people die when the fucking paramedics are there. You're literally dragging bodies out of a flat to them so they could do something about it. So there was all this legal ambiguity at the time. And then the statistics say something like 45% of prisoners were overdosing in their first week out of prison. And that statistic was kind of still to this day, it's incredible. So with me showing that short film, I guess prisoners in the prison started, there was a public value to it, and I started looking at maybe my filmmaking and thought, well, could I make films that tackle social issues? You know, and I guess...
Was that the first time that you got like that positive recognition, guys, and it felt something similar to what you were getting in a negative way?
Well, what was funny was, you know Shane Meadows, the director, Shane Meadows? This is England. So I didn't know who this guy was. So I'd finished my HND and everybody in my class was going to university. I wasn't going to uni back then, so I was like, fuck it, I went to Edinburgh Film Festival and I got a crate, sat down, I started writing a screenplay, and my showreel, which was my graduation showreel, I put A4 bit of paper. You remember, you might be a bit young, but the Boys for the Black Stuff, there was a TV show in England called Boys for the Black Stuff, a bit like Alvida and Pet, but there was a famous quote on it saying, Geezer Joe, I can do that. So I put that, and I just thought to myself, if you're a working class director for anywhere in the world and you recognise that quote, we'll probably get along.
Yep.
So this guy walks past me with an actor and the actor's dad, and the actor was wee Tomo for This Is England, which was the wee laddie in This Is England.
Right, yeah.
So Shane says to me, what are you doing? I says, oh, I'm a writer-director. I'm going to make it in the film industry. And he's like, all right. I was like, I've got a showreel. So I gave him the showreel, and then he went into the film house, and 10 minutes later, I kind of thought I've missed an opportunity, so I better go back in and speak to this guy. So as I've tried to walk back into the film house, I opened the door, and I hit Shane in the back. But by this time, there was like 15, 20 people standing around him, and I thought, oh, fuck, this guy's famous. And he was like, do you want to come for a drink with us? And I was like, okay. So I went for a drink, had a real good laugh. And the next thing morning, I get a phone call, and it's Shane Meadows, and he's like, mate, I watched your student short film. He says, that's the best student film I've ever seen.
Brilliant.
Obviously, that filled me with like, oh, I know this guy's something special. I don't know who he is, but I know he's something special. And then he was like, do you want to come up and watch my film at the film festival? I've got a premiere. And I was saying to him, like, guy, and usual shit, I'm like, guys like me didn't belong at the film festival, guys. And he's like, get that shit out of your head. So I went up, and it was sold out. By this time, I'm realising, fuck, this is a famous film director, like, really famous. The wee guy for This Is England has pulled me aside at the premiere, and he's like, just you stand here with me. So we end up watching wee Tomo's film on the big screen, and it comes to Q&A, and somebody who's a film student, who's a graduating film student, is asked, like, have you got any advice for up-and-coming filmmakers? And Shane is like, where's Garry? And the spotlight comes on me, and he's like, take inspiration for what he was just doing. And that just, again, I think I ended up in the papers for that, but that just, like, it just started giving me more determination and more.
You were within touching distance.
Yeah, the way I've seen it. Yeah, I don't know if you experienced this with football, but it's like, if I can do this, I know I'm good. In fact, fuck that, I know I'm shit hot. No good, I know I'm shit. If I could just, and then you start getting this dream that's it, I'm going to make it as a film director. It doesn't really work like that, but you have this, there's something that I can do that's no stealing or taking drugs. I can do something in my life. So I made another short film, which was great, a great experience. That was about sort of social exclusion, let's just say. And then there was a documentary that showed up at my scheme in Muirhouse, and they were doing a documentary on our war on drugs. And they came down, and the same act, like the wee actors that I use, Shane Meadows says they were brilliant, absolutely brilliant actors. But then when this documentary came down to my scheme, they were showing the same wee guys, and the wee guys were throwing stones and stuff like that. And there was a write-up in the paper. So I contacted Channel 4, the commission editor and stuff like that. It turns out to be Stuart Cosgrove. So I email him and say to him, like, how come when I'm working with Shane Meadows, when I'm working and I show Shane Meadows my film and he says it's great and the actors are great, the youths of my scheme are represented like this, but when these middle-class white folk come into the scheme, they're suddenly pointing cameras, and it was very derogatory, and he just says to me, come in and do better. So came in, and that started a commissioning process to Channel 4. I ended up going to Channel 4, and I was still like, like you in the kitchen. Hi. Like, hello. Oh, do not be fooled with that cuteness. That is the anti. But after that, I built up a relationship with Channel 4 and got Channel 4 in Scotland, and got a short film commission. That brilliant wee short film. But then Channel 4 says to me, do you want to go to some film festivals? Or Stuart Cosgrover says to me, do you want to go to some film festivals? I was like, absolutely. The opportunity to go down to Sheffield Documentary Film Festival, who wouldn't want that? So I went down there, and it was an amazing experience, absolutely amazing. But then, you remember the scheme? I fucking hate it. I think it's just poverty safari, really. You know what I mean? Poverty porn. So that was getting released they were announcing that they were having a second season at Sheffield Documentary Film Festival. And I was around all these people who thought it was great. So when the commissioner asked if anybody had any questions or stuff like that, I was really argumentative and trying to stick to my point. And then I started going, well, I kind of thought the commissioner was fair. So he didn't shut me down. He accepted what I was talking about. And then I says to him, I had an idea for a documentary myself, funny enough. And I chased him to the train station, 8:30 the next day morning. Literally chased this fucking guy to the train station. He gave me his business card and says, speak to me when you come back up to Scotland. So I was buzzing. I thought, this is it. I'm going to get a film commission. And I told loads of people at the film festival, and they were just saying, he does that with everybody, Garry. I went back up, told him this idea that I had, which was called The Truth Behind Trainspotting. And he says that had been done before, like Trainspotting had been done, but if you give your perspective, so instead of it being like me making a documentary make a documentary about myself. And then I felt I had about 10 minutes to think about whether I wanted to blast myself all over TV. And because I'm an absolute attention seeker, I agreed to it. And I had a really good producer that I was working with and stuff like that as well, Amara. So that started on World AIDS Day in Edinburgh, 1st of December, we started 2012, I think. We started Everybody's Child, which was a film commission for myself. It was my first feature documentary. I was still fucked on the drugs. At this time, I'm still carrying a drug habit about with me.
Guys, I'd actually met you before I'd even seen it. And I remember going and watching it, glued, and just like, wow. Really just like, wow. And then coming back to see you again, and just like, not just the fact of what you went through on the documentary, not just the fact of how good the film was and shit like that, but just like how far you've took being in that situation to how you are now. It's just like, it's powerful, mate.
I guess, like, even in that movie, I felt like I was dead. You know, like, I still had this burning desire to be a director, to be a good dad. Didn't know how I was going to do that, but I think that comes across. Like, and then winning the BAFTA for that was a fucking strange experience, because I remember on stage, the woman says to me, and this is when I'm picking my BAFTA, she says, Garry, you're no longer a junkie Ned from your house. You're now a BAFTA award-winning filmmaker. I was just like, okay. I said, I never considered myself to be a junkie Ned from your house in the first place, to be honest with you. But I took it. And
what was the process of that then, guys? So, kind of like getting nominated.
Well,
did you kind of win, or were you just?
No. It was nominated. I think what happens is that every year you can submit your stuff into BAFTA, which is obviously what the producers did. And because it was Creative Scotland funded and BBC Scotland funded as well, it kind of fitted into what other people were doing. You know, it's usually that route for the BAFTAs. Shortlisted for an award, which I knew I'd been shortlisted, so I knew I was up for it. So I knew I'd been nominated. I think previously to that, funny enough, so there was a couple of things. I was nominated for quite a few awards. So one of the awards was the Celtic Media Festival, and I'd done that thing. I'm glad I did it. I just built up my hopes that I was going to get this award that done it in Wales. But there was 2 wee lassies that had a terminal illness, another documentary, and I thought, Garry, you're a bit of a shady bastard if you want to take a documentary over these 2 wee lassies. And I've kind of felt to myself, like, okay, I'm not going to win that. But then coming up to Glasgow for the BAFTAs, I felt like I'd done that thing on just to be nominated. I'm grateful for. And then obviously they say, boom, the winner is and stuff like that. So that was a good experience. And because it got distribution and stuff like that, it been in different film festivals around Europe. So I got, for the first time in my life, like I got to travel really, which was an experience. But because I still had a drug habit, I would literally go screen the film, unbeknown to myself, cause myself all this emotional stress, and I was withdrawing. So I would literally just screen the film, take questions, and then go and sit in the shower in the hotels, just withdrawing, like just horrible, feeling like just anxiety, just taking the life out of me. And I think I felt a bit like Pete Doherty, you know what I mean? I was fucked, and I was like, I need to change. And I was kind of, ironically enough, I met that Pete Doherty and all that as I'm coming off. Went into London, like I got clean, and 3 weeks later, so this is after being nominated and stuff like that, I went into London, and for the first time in my life, I seen celebrity culture at work. It was the most surreal experience. To this day, it's one of the most surreal experiences. All these lassies running around for these guys in a band, and when I seen the chaos that came, I think it was the Libertines. When I seen the chaos that came with that, the View were there as well, funny enough. I was just like, I didn't want this. Like, I cannot come off with all the drugs and all the shit to fall into that. So that was the first time we were in Amy Winehouse's house, and the guy, it was a Baby Shambles. One of the guys for the Baby Shambles, can't say who, sat down next to me, put smack on a foil, sat down next to me, and I ended up turning around and said, "You want to get that to fuck?" And that was the first time that I knocked back smack. And the next again morning, I woke up and I thought, you fucking keep doing that. Like, you keep doing that. From now on in, you keep doing that and you've got a chance. And I think that was the start of it, really. You know, it was the start of me saying, nut. Yep. And you say nut long enough, you just become a party pooper and nobody wants you there in the first place.
Oh, mate, that's amazing. Do you think it was like, was it starting to pick up momentum? Were you starting like more awareness, or was it? Do you think it was in that instant where it was like, I don't know.
Well, back then I was just clean, so I still had the behaviours and I still had everything that was attached to my days in addiction. So I guess that was the point of starting to become a wee bit resilient. Yeah. But the fear factor in me, like literally, I'd been on Valium for 20 years, so 6 months he's sitting on buses and just, I was fucked. I was walking around with a knife again. I was fucked. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I put myself into these things. Like, I'd split up from my girlfriend and come away from the family. I put myself into a homeless hostel. So now I'm clean in a homeless hostel. And I'm like, do I kill myself now? Does some journalist come and take a photograph of me and I end up in the Sun newspaper? They know the way they do that with fucking concert and BAFTA. I had all this stuff. Yep. But I did have this, it's the same thing that's in me now. I have this voice inside me, fuck knows where it comes from. But I remember it first thing in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, go and take. And this other voice is like, Garry, you're no DJ. Get up. And I got up that morning, I jogged. And before you know it, that was the start of me getting fit. My pal took me to kickboxing. And that was the start of me learning to get fucking hit again and realising that I'm not going to die. You know, that's that. If you're not in a contact sport and you can seem a bit, just, I don't know, all this horrible fear, it started leaving me. The fear started leaving me. My diet changed. My intake of water. I never drank water for fucking years. I always walked around with a sore head. Never knew why I had a sore head. Got clean, drank water and didn't have a sore head. Of course you're going to drink water. But, yep. So I guess, and I went to Narcotics Anonymous meetings and I found them really difficult because abstinence, I guess, should be the pinnacle of recovery. You know, not having any drugs or any mind-altering substances in your system. that kind of freaks me out a wee bit as well, because earlier on today with my dinner I had a beer. I had one beer with my dinner. That's no chaotic, and it's no, I didn't feel like I'm using that as a stress busting exercise, you know. But again, if I was in a fellowship, I would have restrictions. I wouldn't be able to do that, you know, my life. So I guess I had to start, and this is what I was saying. A few of my pals are dead now who were in the meetings. But I remember saying, if the whole world goes to fuck and there's no meetings, I want to know I could do it. And everybody was going, the whole world's not going to go to fuck. What happened? The whole world went to fuck. I was good. And I met the lassie I've got the Bernstein stuff. She says the exact same just there. Like, Gary, do you remember what you were saying? I didn't need meetings, and if the whole world goes, I was like, told you. So I guess that was the start of me, like, getting clean, physically fit, and doing a hell of a lot of research around breathing exercises or meditation, like Eckhart Tolle, you know, Joe Dispenza. Yep. There's just a lot of people who I needed their knowledge, not all, but just a wee bit of this, a wee bit of that to fit my lifestyle. So what will work for me? If you're no mental and running about like the way that I do, you probably didn't need the same tools.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of shit, so I kind of need the tools for emotional resilience. I'm up at 5:30 most mornings now, so I need to get that part in as well. So when I was in the hostel, I got my flat, and it was the strangest experience in my life after being sort of homeless, walking everywhere, ducking and diving, and suddenly getting this flat, getting my kids. I had post-traumatic stress, and then I get a phone call from Irvin Welsh, and he says to me, Danny Boyle wants to speak to you. I'm in the flat like fucking weeks. Nothing in it. Floorboards, no curtains, and I'm fucking frying an egg talking to Danny Boyle. And he's like, all right, Gary, we're going to do Trainspotting 2. And, I don't know why I've done that accent, but he came up and he says to me, I want you to act in Trainspotting. I says, nah, I knocked it back straight away. I says, I direct. I didn't really want to act. That's not really what I do. And he asked me what I thought of the first Trainspotting. And I was like, I says, mate, if you want my God's honest truth, I says, I felt like glamorized heroin. And he told me that, not that he had to glamorize it, but he says that they had to shoot the first one like a music video because heroin is such a negative subject, a very depressing subject to try and take to the screen, that's the reason that they shot Trainspotting 1 the way that they did. So I says to him, do you want to come up and see this drama group? Same experience as PTSD, the same all non actors doing their thing, and he came up and you could hear a pin drop. Boom, everybody blew him away. And he says to me that night, I'm going to get all your guys cast in Trainspotting 2. So I was like, brilliant. I was working with like 42 recovering drug addicts and alcoholics. The next decision was pretty stupid. I went, right, so we all went to the pub next door. Don't know why I would have done that. To this day, I'm still like, why the fuck would I take it? But anyway, we went next door to the pub. Most people had coffees. Some people had a drink. And Danny was there, and it was just a really good feeling. And then 2 weeks later, I get a call. And even before the call, like a week before the call, I'm fucking walking around. I'm stressed. I'm that innate artist. I'm thinking I've got everybody a job now. I've fucked myself up. And he phoned me up and he was like, do you want the job as a second unit director? And he says, everybody's going to think that you've done a job that you never done. People are going to think that blah, blah, blah. It put me off it as much as possible. He says that the wages aren't good. I'll tell you to do loads of stuff that you'll go away and do it. You'll bring it to me and it'll not be what I want. Do you want it? And I went, yeah, fucking right. So we had to go and sign our contracts. I still remember this day. We had to go and sign our contracts, and I stopped at this film studio in Bathgate. I drove through. No, did I? I can't remember how the fuck I got through there, but I got through. I think it was a train at first. I wasn't even driving about. I was trying to make it as I just drove up, but I got the train through. Got there and stood and I breathed, and I done my breathing exercises, which was my coping mechanisms now, and took a deep breath. And then went in and tried to act with so much confidence walking through this film studio. I was shiting myself. Got there, we got this big list of stuff that was planned for our unit. And they says, are you capable, really? And I went, more than capable, piece of piss, easy as fuck. At which point, people in the room are looking at me like, are we sure we've got the right guy? And then, before you know it, I'm away fucking directing my unit with Trainspotting 2, and that was an amazing experience.
Did you get a budget or that, guys? Or were you just...
Yeah, man. Our unit didn't get a budget per se, but there was a budget allocated for the second unit. But that would have just came off of the main unit. Like, the way that I shoot is a very small crew anyway. That's kind of the way that I like to work. So essentially, I had a tiny crew for the second unit, which was good. But I guess with Danny and stuff like that as well, that it was a gamble for him to take somebody like me and put me in to take somebody like me and put me in the second unit. But it was amazing. It was like, how many people were there? It was like, more often than not, probably like maybe 4 people on the second unit, and that could go up to 17 to 22, or when we're shooting a scene up the town, it can go massive, you know, it can go really, really big or stuff like that. And I guess we had this, I actually really like him now, but we had this first AD called, which is assistant director, called Harry the Bastard. I know. I guess if you can survive Harry the Bastard, you're good in the Scottish film industry. But it was great. I've kind of felt like a fraud being there, because everybody around me had all this wealthy experience on productions, and I never, you know, even to this day, I still didn't have a lot of experience on productions. You know, more often than not, it's me undisciplined, running around, like what I've done in Dundee. It's me running around mental, fucking try to get what I can get. But I guess the best thing about Trainspotting for me was, initially it was all going to get shot in Glasgow. I got that turned over, so then it all got shot in Edinburgh. I went down to the area that I come from, Meadows, and employed local people, you know, and I had people coming into shops. It was only like 4 years before that I was fucked there. And then I had people coming into shops, like wee laddies and that, coming into shops going, are you really free here, mister? And I was just like, fucking hell, man, that's... I felt like a football player. Like, didn't get me wrong, what was weird is everybody's in my area, and because my first wages for Trainspotting weren't through, I had to get a number 37 bus and get off, walk across Pennywell Road. And I still thought to myself, I better not get fucking stabbed by the time that I get to work. Like, even back then, I was still like, shit, I can still, like, where I come from, physical stuff can happen. It's the same as Douglas, anything can happen, you know. So it was that feeling, I guess, but it felt like, for the wee bastard that was running around selling smack in my area, I was now the guy clean, trying my hardest to give back, and I'd run some of my community projects, and the college that I graduated from with a methadone habit, I went back to teaching there as well, clean. So there was a few things that were coming through for me now that I guess now I understand the laws of attraction and stuff like that. So that was amazing for me. And
how important is that for you now, guys?
Well,
like thinking that you feeling that you need to go back and give someone?
It's everything. My life would be shit if it, like, yeah, it's the reason that I make movies. My reason for making movies is because, like, I love conversing, tongue to tongue, obviously. But very rarely will I grow through conversations. I will grow through making a film and writing a movie, because then I feel like I pull everybody into my bubble. Look, everybody, come and see the world from my point of view. And for me, giving back, that's what creativity is. Like, the only reason that creativity flourishes is because I share my experience. Like, the same way that I share my experience with my addiction is the same way that I share my experience with filmmaking. And more often than not, that means that I'm around people who've never made a film before, because the access to just go make movies is not everybody can do that. So, do you know what I mean? Not everybody has that opportunity. So when you come into a scheme, like me turning a scheme cunt into an actor is one of the best experiences in my life, because if I got you, right, and you'd been to drama school, you wouldn't have gave me what I needed in that workshop. You know what I mean? And I guess, say Mark Branken's mum, to see what she done, like if I had money and shot that properly, she'd be up for a BAFTA. I fucking know it. Like I absolutely know it. You know, so there's something cathartic for me, cathartic for them, and I guess what do I have that other people didn't have? And it's access to the dark places.
Yeah.
Like my Facebook's mental. I've got fucking gangsters to politicians on my Facebook, and I didn't judge anybody. I've got addicts to alcoholics, and I didn't judge anybody. So I guess that's what I have, and that's that part of giving back, you know. And I think 99.9% of people are kind people and want to do good in life. It's just we get caught in the shit, and you become bitter, you become resentful, and you didn't really understand the world, really. Do you know what I mean? So I guess that's what acting does. It frees you from yourself.
100%, mate. Therefore, you were going on about your meditation, guys, and your training.
Yeah, bro.
How big of an impact has that been for you to deal with shit since?
It's everything. It's everything. It's maybe if somebody done this with me when I was younger, a positive male role model, or these days a positive role model, could have been a lassie. But if somebody done this to me, like I kind of, my kickbox, he's definitely not watching this, it's a Monday, but my kickboxing coach, I say to him, you saved my life. I know he doesn't really believe that. He believes, Garry, it did. Like kickboxing saved my life. And then even coming up here and learning boxing that Dundee way, you know, that saved my life. The whole time that I'm up here, I'm staying in Douglas. Fuck's sake, it's easy. I stay across from a chemist. It'd be so easy for me to be up here and be out my nut and blah, 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 all that other stuff. But I guess being up here, running, training with Mark Navarro, like getting trained by Mark Navarro, being down the beach doing my yoga. In November, December, I was up here, right? I'm fucking positive I had that coronavirus up here in November or December, right? My lungs had water in them. I felt like I was dying. I couldn't breathe every night. The only thing that took that away was jogging, running, training, and eventually it left. If I was just smoking, sitting back doing nothing, that wouldn't have left me. You know, that would have been a problem. So I guess now my physicality, my body really is my temple. You know, it's not like I'm a big bulker. I don't want muscles or anything like that, but I just love the way that I am right now. And like, even an example, like the other day there, I messaged these guys about an idea that I had for a documentary down in Newcastle. I kid you not, within 50 minutes, the documentary was confirmed. The fucking fighters that I wanted were on it. And it was just like, I don't know anybody else that has that sort of sway. And I didn't mean it to be like an egomaniac. I have that sway, but I'm very grateful for whatever reasons that happen.
I think it's because people could relate to you so well, guys.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. Can.
I think so, bro. And I think like, it's like being up in Dundee, man. This place has been fucked with drugs. And you see the trauma that's around people constantly. And it's disheartening, because this is the same shit that my scheme back in Edinburgh goes through. And it's marginalised and it's cut off. And you see all this stuff for sort of the V&A or whatever it is. And like, people need, the way I see it anyway, people need acting lessons. People need the workshops that we were doing on a Sunday had more effect than any mental health service provider. But every one of us have got it.
Yep.
You know? But I guess that's what my aim is up here, is to just, that's the point of PTSD, I suppose. Oh, let me get back to something. When I was in that homeless hostel, right? And I started getting fit and started getting clean. I was like 4 months into it. Before Danny phoned me, I'd started workshopping with all these non-actors. But I seen the grey area. I started writing the grey area when I was in a homeless hostel. And I started making that when I was in a homeless hostel. That's what's putting food on my table today.
Yeah.
And that's what I was, when I went back into homeless hostels since then and told them the journey. But it's that sort of thing. It's like, it kind of needs somebody like me to go back into the trenches and go, don't do it like me, like do it yourself. But this is what I done. And I guess it all comes down to writing, you know?
That's cool, man. Well, yeah, going back to the Sunday nights, obviously this fucking coronavirus has kicked in, and our Sunday nights have stopped, and your plate's getting fuller as the days go on, mate.
Yeah.
What's the scope like for getting the Sunday nights rocking again, and how things are going to start developing for PTSD?
Right. So where we're at PTSD at the moment is I am actively seeking a producer to come on board to try and take some of the weight off of me. I would like to be shooting no matter what, even with no budget at all, it's getting done. Like, if it means that I'm fucking jumping around with glass bottles to get money to get this done, we will get it done. So I want to be shooting probably at the very latest August, September, yeah, between the last 2 weeks of August, first 2 weeks of September, hopefully. And like, I'm trying to get like £10,000-15,000 to make PTSD through private investment and stuff like that as well, so we can put it on the Amazon. That would be my wish. And getting, like, for me, no matter what, like, kids and stuff like that have gone back down to Edinburgh and we'll see what the score is. But for me, I still think there's a bit of a need up here for art and deprived communities, you know, peer-led guys like myself who can make other Garys in Dundee. Because up here, it's the same thing, you know, there's a lot of assets and a lot of talent that if you didn't nurture it and you didn't try and point it in the right direction, it becomes self-defeat. Their lifestyles become self-defeating, you know. So I can give back, but I guess with the workshops on the Sunday and stuff like that, I want them back probably as soon as possible.
Yep. Well, yeah, I've been missing them, man. And just to give people a wee idea, kind of like for me, I wasn't done anything like that ever before. Coming into the workshops and just seeing just people being able to stand up and speak in front of, kind of going for day one when the lips were trembling and couldn't say their name, standing up in front of people. And as the weeks have went on, they're standing up and they're just like booming with confidence, doing scenes. And can you mention Branko's mum and that before? Unbelievable.
Crazy, man. It's just, even your brother acting. No, your brother, Gary's brother. Mark's brother, Garry, sorry. Even him acting. And I remember we shot the scene it was a real strange experience because initially I didn't want Mark Brankin there because it was his mum. And I thought, but the other camera operator, there was some sort of thing. And before you know it, I'm like, okay, I need big man there just for comfort for mum and stuff. So then you had this unreal situation where you had Garry Brankin in the kitchen with Mike's sister, and you had Mark on camera acting, Mark on camera with Mark Navarro and Kate acting in front of him. But everything that she was coming out with was through their childhood because it was just improvisation.
Yep. So
I think Brankin had a bit of an emotional block because he's on camera, so you have a bit of a filter. He's more looking, but Pierre Garry in the kitchen is just boom, 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 and you could feel it. Like, I've got some stuff, it's just like rough footage, but oh my god, it sends the hairs on the back of my neck, you know. And I guess even coming into Douglas and shooting like a kidnapping scene and stuff like that obviously it doesn't get done. Fucking hell, it's brilliant. We had the whole street shut off, we had locals out, we had all these fucking people helping. I thought it was great. I thought it was absolutely amazing. And I guess I've never seen these characters on screen. You know, the hard Dundonian without it being looked down on, you know, without the working class. There's a bit of nobility to the characters, a bit like the grey area. That's the similarities between PTSD and the grey area. There's a real nobility to the working class characters in this, you know. And again, can't really take my hat off anymore to Mark Navarro. He didn't act. You know, it's about trying to keep him contained, but oh my God, the boy can act. You know, I asked him to cry and he could cry. And no many actors can do that, you know. So he gave me that in abundance.
Yep. I think Navarro as well, Ken, somebody who has been through a lot in their life. And there's a lot of emotional baggage of such to tap into where you can really pull it through.
Yeah, man. He's a good guy. Yeah.
He's done well. Definitely. So, guys, for what's coming next?
Well, I'm currently writing a book. Just for the sake of my own mental health, I suppose. I just want to try and get the words on paper and maybe try and get it published for Christmas time. I think Steve Rafe and the guys doing in Newcastle, if I can get a first draft together, they're going to help me get it out, which is great. Obviously doing Tried and Tested, or the Sears project in Newcastle, which is just incredible. Incredible story, really incredible story. So if you've not read that book, Tried and Tested, I would advise go and read it. It's one of the ones that you pick it up and can't put it down. And I picked it up and couldn't believe that I was getting an opportunity to make this into a movie. So that Tried and Tested. Grey Area parts 2 and 3 at the moment. We're writing them. We're looking to. I don't even know how much I can say about that apart from we are close to finalising these scripts. Very close. So that's been mostly what I've been up to.
What happened with the Grey Area, guys? Well, this it's been closed down for so long.
Well, I think initially we were hoping that maybe if the gods had graced us, that we would have been shooting maybe September, October, not too sure. But that's obviously not the case now. So for me, I guess I'm in a bit an advantage to a lot of people at the moment because I'm a writer. So I'm really trying to develop as much as I possibly can while the coronavirus is here. I mean, we can still do other things at the moment. Like we can do socially distanced workshops, but there's something impersonal around creating a square and asking somebody to stand in it. So yeah, we're looking to do that. And again, because I met Mark Navarro, I want to do a documentary called The Heart of a Fighter, which I'm what to do with these guys doing in Newcastle. There's a thing coming up called Spartan Wars, which is in September. So my idea is speak to Mark. He's obviously my Scottish bare knuckle boxer that I'd speak to and try and understand a bit more about him. And then go and speak to these two guys doing in England and the guy who organises it. And
What's
shoot.
Spartan Wars?
Pardon?
What is Spartan Wars?
It's bare knuckle boxing, but they do it in a barn, or they didn't do it in a barn. They do it, but they do bails. They put bails around the boxers, and I guess the exciting thing about it is in a boxing ring or an MMA cage, there's loads of space. No, in the bails. In the bails, it's on top. So, and I love it. You know, like I don't love masculinity. I certainly don't like masculinity, but I love the nature of a fighter. I love the person that trains. I love the person that fights. Like the guys like Mark or Garry Furby, who I met doing in Newcastle, or other guy, Paul Venus, you know, all really hard guys, but they didn't fling it about. They're no bullies, you know, and I don't think masculinity is all that bad if it's channeled, you know. You couldn't tell a football player on the field, don't be masculine, because that's a safe place for it. And I guess that's the same as the ring or training as well, you know.
No bravado on the outside. It's only like when they're in there.
Yeah, man. That I guess it comes with respect and stuff like that as well, you know.
No, that's cool. So here, you're Everybody's Child.
Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon.
YouTube as well. I think I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah, Grey Area's still on iPlayer. Any other plugs? PTSD is the trailer for PTSD. I think that's on Socialize's Instagram, and there's a Facebook page, PTSD movie page.
We actually need to give Socialize a big shout out. Kirsty and Mike as well.
I mean, shout out to Kirsty and Mike, man. Whether people in Dundee know these guys are tireless in their effort to try and bring something positive to the city. We've done the love music, hate racism thing no long ago as well, which I think is probably even more relevant to everything that's happening right now. So, yeah, I guess us as Socialise, like I count myself in as being part of Socialise, I guess it's really important for us to have art that is inclusive and stuff that talks about and tries to raise awareness to some of the issues that people are going through now, you know. So
going back what you said before when you were on about you got hauled over, can be the boy Tommy.
yeah.
What was the question that asked you? What advice would you give to an upcoming filmmaker now?
Yeah.
What's your answer to that now, guys?
My answer to that now would be like, adjust your life so that it suits your work. I guess filmmaking is, I see a lot of people with money come into the creative industries because they can afford the iMac and they can afford the digital cameras, but they don't have the passion. Yeah. So for me, like, you've got to, like, for me, I've committed my life now to being one of the best directors that I can be. And the only way that I can do that is by everything in my life has to fit in. Like, I don't have a spare moment at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm reading or I'm trying to influence it. So for anybody who's an up and coming filmmaker, like, you have to write, I guess it's for me, you have to write about social issues, and you can't be scared to go and take on subject matters that might seem controversial, but again, be prepared to work your arse off, because that's the only way that you're going to sort of make something of yourself now.
See, when you're coming through, guys, do all, like, do our filmmakers or do our directors write, or do they team up, or?
No, very fuck. Like, Shane Meadows writes, but if I didn't write my stuff, it wouldn't get made.
Yep.
Like, nobody wants to hear about drug deaths in Dundee. Nobody wants to hear about fucking heroin in Edinburgh. Like, there's certain things and agendas that fits into Scotland, and they didn't want that other side. And I guess for me, the more they didn't want it, the more I'm determined to push it through. You know, that was the reason that I actually came up to Dundee, because of the drug deaths. You know, I was at Scottish Parliament and I heard some of the statistics up here. So that was the reason that I brought PTSD up to Dundee and tried to, I mean, you've seen, I don't want to mention names, but you've seen some of the people at the workshops and stuff like that. Like, this, what I was trying to do was more for them than what it was to try and create like an amazing movie. Do you know what I mean? That's the process is far more interesting and far more beautiful than the final product. Like, even the trailer, like, I'm buzzing with the trailer, but the process is equally. Are you trying to make it to these people that I'm not feeding you?
How you doing, mate?
You come and sit next to me. Like, we're taking some questions. Right, we've got to take some questions.
If you've got any questions, fire away, guys.
What?
Is there any questions up on the thing? Nah, we'll get Faith to answer them.
What have we got?
Comment.
People are saying the world needs more real inspirational people like yourself.
Good boy, good dad.
Good boy, good daddy. Don't patronise me. Don't come in his kitchen.
Well done for opening up and speaking on your problems. Also beating your demons. Showing everyone who doubted you that you can do it. I take my hat off to you. You're one of the most honest and realist people I've ever met in my life.
Oh, that's sweet.
James Cameron.
That's sweet, man. I've got them all coming through now, by the way. This isn't the Benefit Street. This live stream has suddenly turned into Benefit Street.
Mama,
did you see comments coming through, Garry?
What's that?
Did you see comments coming through?
No, I can't. Faith, stop it. Stop. No, I can't see the comments.
No.
No, but that's good, though. Leave my door. Okay. My 17-year-old son that can never afford fags, and I find myself enabling his nicotine habit.
How are you doing, Garry, anyway?
Come and speak to big.
How are you doing, Junior?
Hi, Tyson.
That dude?
Mm-hmm.
Something lad.
How are you doing, mate? I can't see you.
Oh, you know, what's that, man?
How we doing, dude?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, man, yeah. Coping?
Isolated.
Exactly, socially isolating before this.
Cool, guys. Anything you want to add before we end?
Nah, man. I guess it's just like I guess this message is specifically for people in Dundee that over the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, while I go and try and get investment in for the film, just to let everybody know that it might not happen. So we might run a crowdfunding campaign just to try and put everybody on minimum wage and stuff like that to make PTSD. Do you know what I mean? We have to pay everybody. We can't to get everybody acting it for free and try and get on Amazon. So, but you can put everybody on a living wage and stuff like that. So there's a way to do it. So just to let everybody know in Dundee, I'm not coming up here with my hand out trying to make a film for myself. It might be the case that we tap onto people who've got no money.
It's called a PTSD.
And getting them to ask. So yeah, man.
Because of PTSD.
Yeah, because of PTSD.
Get Faith to ask them.
We'll get Faith to ask, if nothing else. Look at
Yay! It's Spider-Man!
this.
Definitely, mate. Here, I think a crowdfunding would work perfect.
I thought that, bro. I thought that. So that's always been, that's in the back of my mind at the moment. And it's not for massive pennies. And I guess what I was going to try and do is
Good doggy.
any money that's raised through PTSD to try and find that there's obviously drug deaths in Dundee, but to try and find a good way to put in, I don't know if it's £5 that gets sold for instance, £1 that goes to this project in Dundee that might be socialised on. But again, there's definitely a need for it, you know?
Yep. No, that's brilliant, mate. Brilliant. So, guys, inspirational story, man. Thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you, bro. Say bye, Dean.
Bye, Dean.
See you later, guys.